Pew, pew, pew. What is going on, everybody? I wanted to do a quick update, first impressions of this bad boy right here. This is the Extreme Patriot 105, made in the USA, American steel. Psh, 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 psh. It wasn't on, right? I made that noise with my mouth. I just wanted to give you some quick impressions. So, the other video I said I picked this new airbrush up, upgraded from my old trusty Chinese airbrush. It is pretty nice. I can't tell you why it's different, but it's definitely different. I really like this high trigger. That's super nice. I'm still getting used to the exposed needle. That's nice to be able to see any kind of buildup on the needle, but it's not nice to do the backflow where you would cover it and then let the air go through and it would bubble up in here and that mixes in your cup. So we're getting used to that. I haven't shot it a whole ton yet. We were playing around with making some lines. You can tell it does some pretty tiny little lines when you get up real close. Obviously you gotta play with the PSI and stuff, but see up there on the top, real teeny tiny lines. And then there's some spidering or whatever because of just the PSI, but that's getting, really close and just barely pulling back the trigger and shooting it. So, another quick update, I've only shot 2 of my new Minotaur Badger paints. I shot coal and badger fur, and they seem really nice. I barely even thinned them, and I basically just shot them on this little horse, little toy horse. You probably can't really see it in the camera, but maybe you can, right? It's black underneath and then gray, and then it's kind of a zenithal with those grays. But I was just practicing. They went through this thing really smooth. I think they're going to be pretty nice. I just have to figure out, what to use them on. So, the pros. This thing shoots super, super tiny, fine little dots. You can make nice little lines. The control's really good. And I'm an amateur with airbrushes for sure, so if I feel like the control's good, it must be good. If you really knew what you were doing, you'd probably really like this. You might not like the high tip or high trigger if you were, I guess, more familiar with airbrushes or you've been using them a long time. But I've only been doing this with the airbrush maybe a year. Let's say a year. I don't even know, but I have those 2 Chinese airbrushes, and so using this one being my first nice one, which cost me about $60 at the convention. I think they go for around $100 online, and this is the Extreme Patriot 105. Being my first nice one, it feels very nice. It definitely feels like an upgrade. The control feels very good. And so far, no problems with the needle size and just shooting some black ink and some Minotaur grays through it. I will have to try it to prime. I haven't done that yet. So this isn't like a full review as much as it is a first impressions. So far, I like it a lot. I think it's very nice. I'm using a very cheap, tiny little Zenny compressor. It basically has a red button on it that is on and off. There's a little dial on the side to control the PSI, but I just have it cranked all the way up to have as much PSI as I can get out of that little guy, because it doesn't have a tank or anything, so I just want it to go. And I was finding that necessary for shooting through the little Chinese airbrushes. Maybe that's not necessary for this one. We haven't had a full, I guess, run of which kind of paints through it. But there's one downside to this airbrush, in my mind. It has this little dial here. It seems wobbly. It's got a little wobble to it. See that? And unfortunately, if you put it all the way up, then it basically blocks the airflow. I guess this is to do some kind of special effects. I need to research why I would ever want this. And also maybe research if I can just get rid of it somehow, like put some piece in it to seal it and then never open it again, because this thing, it controls your airflow. I guess I can't figure out why I would want to do this, right? You can basically choke the needle, I guess, and then like maybe if you were going to do like splatter, I don't know. I hate it. I hate this little dial. I'm not sure what to do about it. I gotta go on Badger and check what my options are on getting rid of that little thing. Because I tried taking it out, and then when you take it out, air shoots out of the bottom, so it has to be there to stop air from just shooting out the bottom. So that's unfortunate, because it feels like it's gonna break or something in there. It has too much of a wobble. This just a tiny little screw, and it just feels like as I'm using the airbrush, sometimes my fingers, like, I don't know, like, it seems like my knuckle is right there. See, like right there, my knuckle is hitting it and spinning it because it's so loose. You can hear it jiggling. It feels loose, and just the lightest touch turns it slightly just from holding it and shooting the airbrush. So I need to either get used to holding this without touching that, I guess. Maybe I need to hold it like back here or something, more like, maybe I gotta hold it like this. Maybe that's how I'm supposed to do it. Maybe just claw it like that. I don't know. So right now, I'm having a hard time adjusting to that little thing. It seems totally pointless for me. Besides that little piece and this high trigger, I think this is just a Patriot 105, which means maybe I should have just went with the regular Patriot instead of the Extreme. And I wouldn't have had that little dial, I believe. But that being said, I love this thing. This thing is awesome. I guess if I really have a good time with this one, maybe I'll pick up either the 105. Well, I don't even know if I need the 105. I think another difference is this one has a smaller needle than the regular 105. But I haven't tried it yet, but I did buy the bigger needle. So just in case I need a bigger needle for priming and stuff. And that'll be super exciting. I've been working on, so that is my review. If you only came here for the review of the Patriot 105, Extreme Patriot 105, that's it. Please subscribe. And then a little hobby update for everybody who just likes my more vlog chit-chat style. I've been painting the others miniatures. You can see them starting to line up right here. You can't really tell, but they're coming out super cool. I really like them. And I am just trying to push contrast. Contrast, kind of cross-hatching, lots of highlights. I am trying. I don't know. We're going to figure this out, right? I can't ever show you anything, but even from that distance, you barely can probably see it on camera. And you can still see her little face and hand kind of glowing, maybe the tentacles. So anyway, we're just focusing purely on contrast. It's a horror board game. I don't want to play it until I have a fully painted set, so we can play the maximum best experience when we first try it. And it will be a bummer if we then find out that we do not like the game, because I have all the expansions. I bought all the Kickstarter stuff. So On the plus side, though, I'm painting it to a very high standard. At least I'm trying. You may think I suck. So, and we'll do a slideshow video when we get all of them done. So I did all the 6 little nun type characters. It's like 2 priests, priest, a nun, and like a altar kid, altar boy, choir boy. Now I'm working on like the doctors. So it's like a nurse or doctor, then like 2 other just doctors are all wearing like lab coats. I am trying to play with contrast, big time contrast on these little board game miniatures, and also playing with color, temperature, warm highlights, warm shadows, cool shadows, warm clothes, cool skin, etc. So one last thing, I participated in the Hobby Hangout Miniature Exchange, and a very nice man by the name of Corey Martin, thank you so much. He sent me this little Custodes guy. It looks super good. And I'm going to try and put that in for you, if you can see him. Probably can't really see him. But anyway, Corey Martin, thank you so much for the miniature exchange Custodes guy. I love him. I like his little bald head and his little goatee. Reminds me of somebody. So that's all I got for right now. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. We're almost at 300. Whoa!